Well, good evening. Welcome back to Virtual Pool 4 Online. We're here for Friday Night 9 Ball. I'm going to try and get it all in. Depends how it goes. If it goes anything like last week's, then Spectre Dawn's going to breeze through it, which is basically what he did. The bracket should be going up in about a minute's time. We had 13 in it last count. Let's have a quick check. 2, 3, how many seats are left? According to that, still 3 available. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. So we have 13 in. I think that was the same as last week. Well, Spectre Dawn's in to defend his title from last week. Sylvia's listed there. Larry's in. Mr. Fox is there. Jose is in. LS3 is in. Stefan is in. I wonder if he'll show up. He tends to show up at the last minute. Good evening, Mark. We should be about to go. There he is. He's just arrived. And probably within about 30 seconds now, that room should go up. I probably have to change the cloth colour. Well, I've got good news and bad news. The good news is, on my part, I still had a few days left of the holiday year, and I got my roster at work today, and I'm working tomorrow, Sunday, and I'm working on the Monday, and then I've got the rest of the next week off again, and that'll be all my holidays complete for 2020. Excuse me, before the end of the financial year. The bad news is, if you haven't heard, and anybody who had the original version of Virtual Pool 3 would know who I'm talking about. Virtual Pool 3, when it was launched among other things with the endorsement of Jeanette Lee, otherwise known as the Black Widow, and she made the tutorial videos for VP3. And the bad news, I'm afraid for her, is that she has been diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer. Now, for anybody who doesn't know what that means, stage 4 basically means that the cancer is not just in the ovaries, it's spread to possibly other vital organs in her body. So the prognosis won't be that great, I'm afraid. I don't know any more details. I haven't read up specifically in the story, and also the fact that probably there's not an awful lot more detail available, but she'll obviously been undergoing chemotherapy, etc., depending on how severe this is going to be. So that's the bad news. The bracket's up, the rooms are up. We've got fantastic Mr. Fox against Dubrovnik, LS3 against Spectre Dawn. That's the match we're going to get in and watch. We've got Jose against Dirties, DJ Redo against SD92. Let's have a quick look at the bracket. Good evening, welcome. Let's get this bracket up, and we'll see there's a number of buys. We've got Bankster, Stefan and Sylvia all have buys. So the match we're going to go in and watch is the match between LS3 and Spectre Dawn. And LS3 is getting what looks to me like the 8 ball. That text for the money ball needs to be black. It needs to be bold and dark so that I can read it on that bracket. Right, let's set the cloth colour. The other thing you'll notice is with this cloth colour in this room, pay attention to the end of this rack, because I think that this table logo looks awful against. I don't know whether it was actually tested against the different cloth colours. I don't think it probably was. But I think there's two new ones. I might be wrong, but the other one, they all look washed out on this blue cloth, and I think it depends in the room that you're in. Well, I heard it on. I think it was on Facebook. Somebody posted it on Facebook. But stage 4, any cancer is not good news. Let's put it that way. And it depends how far gone it is. I mean, the obvious places for cancer when it spreads is usually the liver. That's where they'll test the lungs. And if it's really bad, it could be the brain. Well, that's a great start. LS3's gone already. LS3's back. But stage 4 is bad news. There's nothing good about it. You're saying she only has months. Well, again, the diagnosis. I mean, obvious thing as well is this has been made public one way or another, whether that was officially made public by herself or something leaked out. But obviously, she would have been undergoing treatment for quite a while, I would imagine, unless this was just discovered. But it's been if it has been discovered and diagnosed, it's been diagnosed as stage 4 because she'll have had all the tests, obviously. But it is not pleasant news. Meanwhile, Spectre Dawn. Oh, in fact, yeah, I'm right enough. LS3's getting the 8 ball, and she's well worth the 8 ball if she can get a shot. Aye, only 49. And she's got her chance. So, this is what happens when the stronger player, the higher rated player, starts making mistakes, because it's not the mistakes that they make, it's the chances that the player that's getting handicapped takes. But once again, it's a handicap where we've got a 2,300 player giving away an 8 ball to a 2,200 player. And you've always got to expect that the 2,200 player is going to get to the 8 ball given a chance. And this is why the handicap isn't that great. Now, that was not the best of shots. You want to be staring this down at this angle. But just the 8 ball, got to watch the cue ball though, don't get carried away with pot and 8 for getting the cue ball. And then it goes, cue ball was tracking towards the corner. Well, no, it's not that one. That doesn't look too bad on this cloth. There's the other one, is the Inside Pool Magazine one. It's the Inside Pool Magazine one. It looks awful. So it does. It does not look good at all. It looks really washed out against the blue cloth. So 1-0 to LS3. And the ball. Now wait a minute here. Hi, there was a ball in the break. I was just thinking here, what's went missing? So, well, good safety required here. Is that going to keep travelling? Now, Spectre Dawn has got a problem. The problem being that he's hooked right over this 5 ball, looking for a thin edge of that too to try and come back down to the same corner here. And he's played that well. That's a good shot, because it was not easy to get that line. That's an excellent safety. And the other bad news as well is I was watching the snooker this afternoon, watching the, what's his name, Sean Murphy, Stephen Maguire match. And the announcement was made, because we were, once that match was finished, it was a race to 5, but we were waiting on the match between Ali Carter and Ronnie O'Sullivan, and it was announced that Ali Carter's had to withdraw from the tournament. But I didn't. I didn't. Once I found that out and the other match was almost done, I switched it off, and I didn't hear if there was any further information. The only thing they did say is it wasn't anything connected with COVID, but we know that Ali Carter has had been having various sorts of treatments for the problems he's been having. So I don't know whether it's any sort of reoccurrence or whether he's just been feeling under the weather or something. I haven't heard any information unless any of you guys heard anything different or any proper statement was made. Well, there's the second mistake and a scratch from Spectre Dawn, and it's another gift for LS3. Remember, just needs to get to that 8 ball. This needs to go. I see the worst possible place to leave that cue ball is right on the rail, because it just reduces your options and what you can do. And now she's probably looking just to go a little drop through to make it 2-0. That's not an ongoing grudge, that carry on. That's all done and dusted, that. You're talking about the so-called shoulder barge at the World Championship. That's a load of bull. No, there's obviously a reason. It could be a reoccurrence of his illness or whatever. But then everybody speculates everything unless you hear the truth. But obviously, there's no way Ali Carter wants to withdraw from a match against Ronnie O'Sullivan. No way. So it's serious enough for that to happen. Especially having, worked so hard during the week to get there. Oh, I never heard about that one. So, Spectre Dawn, already in this first match this week, a big turnaround from last week. He didn't miss anything last week and just walked the tournament. And LS3, well, the big problem here is obviously running into that 4. That's got her in an awkward shot in the 3. And the cue ball, unless she does something with it, it's just coming straight back up this right hand side of the table and could be blocked out in the 4. So you're better off overhitting this so you go back up the table. You're bound to have a sight on the 4 doing that. So it's got to be full-blooded for the 3 ball. Well, a bit of inside has brought it over to the left. How's the luck? Well, it's going to have to be a goodie, this one. And the angle is there. Now, there's ways to do this. You do this with top right-hand English. You hit that end rail. You hit the end rail there, and then it'll get my line sorted out in a minute, and then it goes that way down for the 6. That's what would happen. You would run with inside right, push it the cue ball that way, and then come down like this for the 6. Now you see she didn't put much on it, and that's why it's went straight and it didn't angle off the rail. You need inside right on that cue ball to punch it towards that rail that way so the angle goes this way, and that's why she's ended up straight. Well, that's pretty vague, isn't it? Well, we all know that he's withdrew because of illness. We know that, but if that's all that has been publicly made available, then he's obviously keeping it to himself. And this is how things go wrong. If she'd played the shot the way I describe it, she would have been on the 6 from the opposite side, or would have had a better chance of getting there, and now she's got no shot. Going to try and maybe send this to the bottom rail here. Oh, I think she's filled the 8. That's a bit of a disaster. Is my eye seeing things? Well, that's thrown it away there, I'm afraid. After having that good opportunity to get to the 8 ball, she's blown it by hitting the 8 itself. And Spectre Dawn has got out of jail there. Good evening, Popman. How do you like the on-screen chat? I think it looks better. I can see it better with that contrast on it. That background makes it much, much easier for me to read, even though I'm sitting right in front of the screen. So 2 racks to 1 for LS3, but it should be 3-0, let's be honest. Spectre Dawn's break is dry, and we've got an immediate problem. The 6 and 9 are locked up. The 6, well, it will go into the middle if you were dead straight on it, but it's very, very tight. But we're looking for a nudge here on this 6 and 9. But obscures the balls. Where does it obscure the balls? Where are your balls on your screen, Popman? You must have entirely the wrong resolution on your monitor, mate. Yeah, but how often am I zoomed in? Not that often. Only to see a certain angle or something like that. Now we've also got the 7 and the 8 locked up, so what to do here for whoever's going to try and win this one. Spectre Dawn all out for the pot and the 2. And this is the thing about dyed-in-the-wool 9-ball players. They go for everything in VP4 when they could easily have played a safety shot. But having said that, it's still a tall order for LS3 to get anything here, and she's almost scratched. Well, not so far, because Spectre Dawn has already gifted 2 racks to LS3, and he never gave anything to anybody last week. Or was it the same? Was it the same match in the first round? By you've got a good memory. I couldn't tell you who played who last week. The custom settings will be the fact that the table is probably on rack money. That's what it will be to do with. Rule options, 3 foul, lag balls, rack money is on. That's the what do you call it? The custom setting. So remember what rack money is. Rack money means that the 9-ball, instead of the 9-ball being racked sort of there, it's racked up on the head spot of the triangle. So it brings the rack further up the table. Like that. Well, mind you, I'm showing you at the wrong end of the table. It's here. Instead of the 9-ball being sort of there, it's racked there, like that. So the triangle of balls is further up the table, like that. That's what rack money is. So that's why we have a custom setting for the tournament. Well, Spectre Dawn is going to be all square within the next 30 seconds. The billiard channel. So, 2-ball has gone. Thin cut in the 1, and is going to have to be extremely lucky to get on this 3-ball. This is exactly the shot that's crying out for a good safety here after this 1-ball. And he's looking to bounce up. That is pretty good. That is okay. Good sight in the 3. Just trying to drop it in dead weight so he's not too much angle on the 4, and that's perfect, and he should be out. So we will have. I'm still not certain about tonight as to whether I can hang on to the full duration of this tournament. It just depends how quick the matches go. But certainly next Friday I'll be able to go the distance because I won't be working. And for LS3 to stay in this match, she's got to take those chances. She's already blown one of them, and now she's going to be trailing for the first time. Especially if you're a 2,200 player, you can't be blowing chances when those balls are there for the taking, and you put yourself in trouble by not getting there. Couple of balls in the break, 3, 4 balls in the break, I think. It felt like it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yet we've lost the 2, we've lost the 4, the 5, and the 7. And if Spectre Dawn can get this bank and get this cue ball around the table, well, he's going to be in no man's land. So it looks good odds for the bank, the double bank on this 3 ball. That's what he's going to have to go for, unless he's trying to pick the line for the single bank. Well, that has to have the pace. It's not going to get there. You've got to hit it a wee bit harder than that. It would have got there. It would have gone. So now LS3 simply cannot make a mess of this. Got to get the match all square. And this is calling out for a drag kill stun shot. There's a good combination. A good drag kill like that. Perfect. So you play that shot with a good medium pace as if you're trying to draw the cue ball up the table. But when you're digging in and playing that shot, that drag shot kills the pace a bit as the cue ball travels up towards the object ball. And then you get that stun effect on the 6 ball. When you hit it, the cue ball just dies stone dead. So all square, 3 racks all, but once again, this rack money brings up a lot of dry breaks from time to time. You go through big long sequences of dry breaks. And the safety, I think, has got LS3 blocked out. Well, this is going to take another good shot from Spectre Dawn if he can get as far as the 4 ball, because he's going to have to get down this left hand side of the table to get on that 5. Unless he drops straight down to this bottom rail and takes the 5 into the middle, but that's less likely to happen. Oh well, the big stun again has caught Spectre Dawn out. Big difference in these pockets to the straight pool championship we had. You can't hit them that hard and hit them offline. They won't go in. But LS3 is going to have to bail out with a jump stick. And then she'll have the same problem if she can get good on this 4 and how she gets anywhere near this 5 ball. And I think that's going to be nowhere. And once again, a good safety here. I mean, the good safety is cut that 4 ball that way, skim the cue ball down and down here. This is where you want to hide the cue ball. Got to hit the pace so that 4 ball comes back into the table on that top rail. And that's not a good shot. That is extremely poor. And she's chickened out in the shot there, I'm afraid. She had the right idea, but got it far too thick for a start. It had to be hit with a good bit more pace to get that cut and bring that ball back across past the 6. And it has to still go down as a chance gone to get back into the lead. And Spectre Dawn has been caught out by the pot angle again. So once again, another chance for LS3. And I'll tell you something, Spectre Dawn has gave more chances in this first 6 racks than he gave in the whole tournament last week. And there's a problem here as well, getting onto this 8. Because that 9 ball's in the way. If you just drop through from this 7 ball. And it may well be the drop to the middle pocket. And that's perfect. So it's definitely going to be 1 rack lead to LS3. But you don't want to have to be waiting on more chances, more gifts from Spectre Dawn. Oh dear. Well, LS3's falling apart here. Hit the ball when she didn't intend to. So ball in hand for Spectre Dawn. Just looking to hook her behind the pack. And that'll do. But again, Spectre Dawn should have LS3 in trouble. Bank that 1 ball behind the pack, send the cue ball down into the kitchen. Easy safety. But once again, it's so poor a safety shot. That is awful. Nowhere near where that 1 ball should have been. Oh, Mark Williams is playing tonight. Somebody needs to keep telling me the score. Aye, that match is on right now. Now, obviously, with the rack not being broken up, there's no chance of potting in here unless there's a combo on. And there may well be. That 9 ball is just skimming on the 8, but there's a good chance for it being quite close at that 3 may well go in, and it has done. That's the Welsh Open. It's the last tournament in the home series, and this is to see who gets through to the semi-finals tomorrow. I can't even remember who Mark Williams is playing, but what's his name? Selby get beat this afternoon by a guy I've never heard of. Never seen the guy in my life. And Selby missed a black. He missed the final black to win the match across into the middle pocket. So LS3 now has a 1 rack lead. And no shot though. Aye, that was earlier on in the week. 7-8. I remember watching that. The video's on YouTube, but I remember watching the match where he got the highest break in the World Championships. It was the highest break at the time. It was 14 reds, 14 blacks, 1 blue and a black, and then all the colours for a 1-4-5. That was the highest break in the World Championships at the time. So we are back all square. Yeah, he was 34, I read today. Maybe a year or so difference, but yeah, he was late turning pro. I mean, there was a good few other Welsh players who never made the big time that were just as good as Mountjoy, who never ever made the headlines. And a number of years ago, I think Mountjoy had a lung removed. I think he was working on one lung, just like John Wayne, for the last few years of his life. Oh, aye, Tom Ford, yeah, aye. The guy with the Desperate Dan chin. Well, this match is in the balance here. And of course, the big problem is getting from the 6 down to the 7. And he's got a slight angle in this 4. He could just stun behind the 5 for the 5 into the top right hand corner. Just like that. But I think he's gone too far the other side. And now he's going into a blind pocket, or he's cutting into the middle. He's going to have to go right up and down the table or draw off this to hold it up the top end. And he's tried to drag it in and kill the pace. So LS3 has a chance, and that's a good pace. It's going to leave a good angle on this 6. And there's a result through already. DJ Redo has beaten the SD92 7 racks to 1. Now that's going to finish dead in the rail, is it? Are they going to hold up? Just holds up. Thought that was going to run too low there. Good. Now she can just run through or draw back. And remember, just the 8 ball needed for a 5-4 lead. Once again, the dry brakes have started. Spectre Dawn with an opening shot in the 1. Now, can he avoid the 5? If he can avoid it clean, he can at least come down the right hand side of the table. Well, he's playing loads of inside to check off the 5. Well, brushed onto the 2, but he's still going to have a cut. And now the 4 ball has gone slightly awkward. Got to get up that top side of the table. And a good angle. Plenty of room to go around off the 2 rails. Possibly onto the 3rd rail on the right hand side to finish on this 4 ball. Shouldn't be a problem. Oh dear, he's brushed the 9, but he's okay, I think. Now, what's this angle like? Is he going to try and draw off the rail and out between the 5 and 7? Or is he going to leave it long? Yeah, he's taking the safety way of doing it. And now he's got to hit this hard enough to make sure the cue ball comes out and doesn't get stuck there on the 8 ball. Another slightly blind pot in the 6. Pressure's on. And it goes. And we should be back all square. So you can see where the 9 ball's sitting. It's sitting on that second diamond. Right on the second diamond is where the 9 ball sits with rack money. Whereas that's normally the head of the triangle there, like that. Good safety by LS3. Well, that's actually probably not a bad outcome, the fact that he's not hit anything there, because he's left the 2 ball locked up behind the 7, so LS3 is going to have to do something to get things out into the open, but she's looking to go for 3 fouls here by the look of it, or a combo. Obviously can pot the 1 into that corner pocket and nudge into the 7. Another result through. Well, there goes the extension for this rack. She's in 2 minds of what to do here. And if you're going to play safe, you've got to get the cover. And she hasn't got it, and that's not a good shot. She'll be in bother herself in a minute if Spectre Dawn can lob behind this 8 and 3 ball. And that was very much somebody who was in 2 minds of what they were trying to do. Ball in hand, she should have potted the 1 and nudged the 7 to get the 2 into play. But if you're going to decide on the safety, that's the priority. You must get the safety. Spectre Dawn has played a half-decent safety. LS3's jumped out of it and got the combo in the 2. And this 3 ball may well go. If she gets the kick right, it looks lined up towards this corner pocket. Nice and firm. And that will do. Commentator's eye never misses. Now, this 4 ball, well, it ain't going. It ain't going there. It's no way that's happening. So, what about a 4-9 combo then? Might as well get it lined up as best you can for that. Well, she's trying to get down south side of it. And has a shot at the cut. And now, got to watch that cue ball. Another result come through. Well, that first result, Dirties has beaten Jose 7 racks to 5, and Larry has beaten Christian 7 racks to 4, and Larry would have been given a stack there to Christian. And Mr. Fox has won against Mr. Dubrovnik on a final rack decider. And meanwhile, LS3 just needs a couple of more balls. Well, 3 more to be exact, to get back into the lead. So this match is probably holding up the rest of the tournament. It's looking as if it might well go all the way. And for that to happen, Spectre Dawn's going to have to pull one out here. LS3 with a break. And no joy again, I don't think. And I think also that Spectre Dawn is going to have to bail out of the jump stick here as well. Good evening, Rob. Oh, he's missed the pot and he's left one on for LS3. Now, how's this angle? The angle is perfect just to run through and brush onto that 4 or over towards it and then just finish down. In fact, it's actually a lot straighter than it looks. As she really got there, needed another couple inches. Ideal position for that 2 ball would have been square, something like that. That way you can just stun it in and get the cue ball up the table. This is going to be problems. Having to rely on luck. Couldn't avoid hitting that 7 ball, but we'll certainly settle for that result. Again, got to go all the way forward and off the side rail and around for this 4 on the opposite side. Plenty of room. And also, anything but straight on this 5 ball. Cue ball coming across here to the left. Got to leave that angle so you can get up for that 6. That's going to be poker straight, I think. Aye, not much doing there. That's the cardinal sin. You're going to have to force this. Get the spin working. Cue ball heading towards the corner, the middle, but still okay. Got to hold it together now. Now, it looks to me the safest bet is just to roll this in and get across behind that 7. As straight as you can. 2-0 to Williams. Well, Spectre Dawn looks as if he's going down this week. He's going to have to come through the hard way because LS3's taken him out by 7 racks to 5. So, that's probably the last match in the first round matches. Quick look and see how that shapes things up. Let's have a look. Rid of that. Right, so we've got a second round match underway between Dirties and Sylvia. We've got Larry playing Mr. Fox. That's the match we're going to get in and watch. We've got Stefan now going to play LS3 and DJ Redo is playing Bankster. So the match we're going to watch is between Larry and Mr. Fox, and this match may well be a scratch match, I would think. I don't think there'll be much in it. Exactly as I thought, we're in the first rack and there is no handicap, and there's only, what, 5 points difference in the ratings. But Larry with first shout here, and of course the immediate problem is getting behind that 5 anywhere to pot it because it's blocked in both directions. So he may well go down and leave the bank. That looks like the safest bet. LS3 is through by 7 racks to 5. Well, Larry decided to try and, I don't know whether that's what he tried to actually do, but if he has done, then it's worked out well. I thought it'd have been better leaving the bank on the 5. But he gets the combo in the 7. 6 ball over the hole, can't miss it. Once he's potted the 5. So Larry should be 1-0 up. So Larry off the mark. Well, that was a thundering break. Balls going everywhere, but not one of them going in one of the right places. Another dry break. And Mr. Fox can't see enough of the two to pot it, but if he can miss that 3 ball with a good bit of spin, he can try and run for cover up this top end of the table. And the pace is good, and the finish is excellent. An easy jump for Larry, but obviously no shot for him. And there is your overhead view for the night, folks. Hope you enjoyed that. And Larry will be quite happy with that result. Now, it's probably easier sending the 1 ball up the table with enough pace to try and get onto that top rail. But Mr. Fox not risking it. But you've got to risk to create chances at some point. Larry going for the reverse bank here. He'll take the bait every day. You see, that was not a great safety shot by Mr. Fox. He had to try and get that. The easiest shot to play there was to send that ball onto the rail up there to get to there and leave the cue ball down this end of the table. And all he did there was leave Larry the open invitation to play the cross double or the reverse double, whatever way you want to describe it. And he might pay the price, but Larry can get up the table far enough. It needs to keep spinning. That is excellent. That's a cracking shot. Now, he cannot avoid this 6 ball unless he stuns and skims past it. Just enough. Yes, he has. That was another good shot. And the 5 goes. And Larry may well make Mr. Fox pay the ultimate price there for a poorly thought out safety. Oh, excuse me. Because if ever you leave, not just Larry, but if ever you leave players of this calibre a sniff of a bank, they're not going to refuse it. And it was always a good high percentage likely that it was going to go in. So Larry, very shortly, 2-0 up. Well, he's gone inside an 9, but you should never miss this. A blind man with a wooden leg and one arm would still pot this. Just don't let the cue ball run away over to the left. So, 2-0. See, once again, a thundering break by Larry, but the ball's still not going in. And this is why I prefer to have the rack money on for this 9-ball tournament, because that always makes it more interesting. It's not how hard you hit the balls, it's finding a break with this rack money being on. And the last 2 racks that Larry's broke, he couldn't have hit the balls any harder. They've run all over the place, but they've still not gone into a hole. Which actually puts more emphasis in actually experimenting with your break to see if you can find something. I'm pretty certain that whenever most guys go into a room, in a challenge room in 9-ball, I can guarantee that they're not playing rack money. They're probably playing with just the standard position of the rack, and they're so used to that. But the only time they ever come up against rack money is in this Friday night 9-ball. Well, Mr. Fox had a go at the bank. He's missed it, and Larry's in again. If he can come back across, get good in the 4, he should be out. He's going to run into the 4, that's what he didn't want. If he'd missed it, he'd have been fine. And now he'll try and send the 4 behind the 5, I would think, and run for cover. That's a sensible shot to play, but can he avoid the 8-ball? That's the other problem. He might send the cue ball up towards the 5. That'd be a safer option, and leave the 4 near the 8. Well, he's going all out for it. Played the reverse bank again. He gets the reward. He's got the thin cut, and he should be on this 6-ball. Well, it's going to be a high cut unless he's hooked, and he's hooked, so I don't think he can jump that. That's too much air time needed at such a short distance. So it's the big heave-ho kick and hope. Give it a good bang, shut your eyes, and just hope you get lucky. Oh, he's played it well. He certainly didn't bang it. He picked a line. And is it a thin cut of the bank again? The bank looks good to me because it's more or less on the middle diamond. He should give it every chance to go in. Surely he's not playing the cut. He looks as if he's playing the cut. Yeah, he's pushed it into the rail. Well, I think he'd have been better off going for the double. It would at least have 2 goes at it going in. And Mr. Fox is going to have to bank the 7. Thin cut will go in, but the bank again is more or less a guarantee that this 7-ball is going to go in. He needs to always remember about the cue ball though. Well, he's went for the thin cut. Well, it looked odds on. Larry was going to be 3-0 up. It's amazing what can happen. That's not going to get there. He's overcut it. And Mr. Fox's chance is gone. I think he was taking evasive action there to try and avoid the scratch. So now it is going to be 3-0. So this will be Larry's 3rd thunderous break. Is it going to be the 3rd dry one? No, the 2-ball's gone in. Now, what's he do here? He's hooked behind the 6. Can obviously play the push out, which he's going to do. Now, again, the push out has to be thought out here because he could have himself in trouble in a second or 2 here. Mr. Fox could be brave and try the billiard off the 1 onto the 7. And that 9-ball may well hold the 1-ball there in the middle of the table. But it's a risky shot. There's a result through from the 1 loss side. I try to hide behind a 5. That's an excellent shot. Good evening, Bill. Well, you put the amp on. So 3-0 to Larry. And Mr. Fox needs a break here. He needs to get something from this safety shot. And Christian has beaten Dubrovnik in the 1 loss side, 4 racks to 1. Larry's got the hit. Has he got it safe? Well, it's not bad considering where the 3 ball is. He'll take that because he knows that Mr. Fox has got a lot to do, even just to get on this 3 ball. Again, this is hitting and hoping to an extent because he's going to hit the 5. No, he's decided on the safety, and he's going to find himself locked up here in 2 seconds' time. 3-0 to Williams. Well, Williams has been playing like this all week, where he's not given a toss and just playing as fast as he can. It's working for him. Well, that was asking for trouble there. And Mr. Fox is in deep stook. This is why you've got to think about that's going to be ball in hand to Larry. He's hit the 4 ball there, I think. No, he hasn't. Well, my eyes have definitely gone. And in the end, it's a good result. Yeah, when you're playing safeties, you've got to make sure you factor in all the ins and outs of what you're doing. Well, Larry's definitely given Mr. Fox ball in hand. Now he's got to get that little angle off the 3 to get across the table for the 4. And then we're going to have the combo, and he's got to be careful. He has to get this dead straight if he can, because he doesn't want that 5 ball to leak away. Now that 5 ball is going to the side rail here. Now he doesn't want to hit this too hard, and the 5 ball comes out into the middle of the table, sort of parallel with the 9, and then he's got no shot. I see that's how things can go wrong. Whenever that angle's there that you have to make the cut to make the bank, you end up on nothing. So now you can reverse bank that to the bottom rail and run for cover. But again, he's went all out to try and make a bank that the angle wasn't really great there to do it, and he's gifted the rack to Larry. You've got to take your medicine. It was an easy safety just to bank that to the bottom rail and try and get up behind the 6. And sometimes attack isn't always the best form of defence. Sometimes you've got to wind it in and get tactical. Because he's sold that one to Larry. Well, this will be Larry's 4th break, and out of the 4 breaks, he's had 1 ball on the break so far, or out the first 3 racks, I should say. So this will be break number 4. Well, break number 5, I can't count. And it's yet another dry one. And Mr. Fox, now again, he's going to play the push out, but if he pushes down the bottom of the table here, he'll be in trouble in a minute. You've got to get wise. If you just go down the bottom of this table here, you're going to leave Larry an easy safety. Because Larry's just going to bury behind the 4 and the 5. Now, let's see if the commentator's right here, because this is an easy safety for Larry. Just cut that 1 ball past the 6, even if it runs into the 6. Well, Larry's hit that too hard. He's left. That was a poor safety by Larry. He had to get the pace right just to drop it in behind that 4 and 5. And so Mr. Fox has got his chance. Once again, too hard. Cue ball coming out into the table. And again, no shot. And he should be playing safe. And this is just playing straight into Larry's hands. You cannot just keep going for everything, especially when you ain't getting them. Well, the shot choices have to be better, and that they're just called out for a safety, not an attempted pot. But the first shot was all wrong to start with because he hit it far too hard. Well, no harm done, I think. That little nudge into the 4 is fine. 4 still goes. Well, I'm looking to see where this is going to go wrong for Larry, and I can't see. Well, that's no my problem. But if he did, he certainly wouldn't be playing half the shots he just played. So that sort of goes against the grain of what I've been saying. He's been doing exactly opposite to what I've been thinking. There's like 3 safety shots he should have played when he went for pots. Didn't get them and ended up just gifting the rack to Larry, just giving him a free go. Like this one here. And then he's going to scratch his head and say, why am I 5-0 down? Well, the evidence is on video. And Larry played a poor safety there to give him the chance. But that first shot that Mr. Fox played into the middle pocket was all paced all too wrong and ended up with no shot in the 2 other than trying a very, very ambitious thin cut when he had an easy safety on. You're just shooting yourself in the foot doing that. Well, he is listening. Well, if you're listening, then you need to wind it in and get tactical. And that's if you get another chance, that is, because this rack's gone. And Larry, this time, the 2, the 5, the 6 have gone. And it's only going to be a self-inflicted disaster here by Larry that's going to stop him from running this table. So again, the simple shot, just roll through far enough. You can draw back, but the simple one is just roll through as long as you get far enough there. The angle's the wrong side of the 7, but it's perfectly okay just to run off the rail and out. And make sure you go high enough in this 8 ball, that way it's easy to get back to the 9. And he hasn't gone far enough, so now he's just going to have to leave the longer shot on the 9. Loads of inside. Where's the cue ball going? Oh. But it is going to be 6-0 here to Larry. And the 1 ball on the break. A shot in the 2. And the only saving grace here may well be that 5 ball. 5 balls lurking behind the 8. Larry might get greedy here. He might try something here. Whether he can actually pot the 2. Yeah, I think he might. I don't know whether he tried to nudge that, but This 3 ball is extremely tight. Yep, used all of the pocket. Now what does he do for this 5 ball? Let's see what this looks like from this angle. Well, he can really thump this into the middle and draw back and at least get behind the 5. He could try and play a combo if he gets lucky enough in the 5. Or he could try just dropping it into the middle, but if he does that, he's gonna have to force it in to get anywhere out for this 6 ball, which is fairly tight. Or he could just punch it up the table and leave Mr. Fox buried behind the 8. That would be the sensible shot. And Larry, again, I'm going to say it, that trackball mouse, for those little shots where it needs a little punch and a kill, it's unreliable. I would have left that cue ball nailed to that 8 ball with my cheap little mouse. And Mr. Fox has been given his chance, none better than this. Well, there still shouldn't be a problem. Just a little bit of drag off this 7 ball to avoid any sort of scratch. But he's going to have a wide open shot at the 8. And that will do. Now you think about it, that shot that Larry had there to kill the cue ball behind the 8, that needs you, with an ordinary mouse, it's so easy to play because you just go through with the shot, a firm little stun, and you punch that object ball up the table and you kill the cue ball stone dead. You try and play that same shot with a trackball mouse and I defy you to get it right every time. It's shots like that I don't think trackball mice are good for in VP4. Because you're always in doubt that you're going to get it right. Whereas with an ordinary mouse, you should be getting that right every time you play that shot. Especially when the cue ball's right in the table and you're not on a rail or anything like that. But Mr. Fox has got rid of the bagel. But Larry has immediately put him in trouble. I don't know whether he can skim that and try and nudge the 3 in. That's what he tried. Is he going to get lucky? Yes, he is. Now, what's Larry lining up here? Let's have a look. Trying the old Mass 8. See, that shot, you have to hit it soft enough to get that cue ball to allow it to take the spin. And Larry just hit it too hard. So, it's Mr. Fox with another chance. Well, a plain and simple roll in would leave a high angle on this 4 ball. But if you're going to go full blooded, you're going to have to come across the gap between the 5 and the 7. And the nudging the 5 will do. That's worked out as best as could be expected there. Well, is Mr. Fox going to get his potting shoes on here? Anything but straight, and that's not what he wants. Now it's all about the confidence in playing the little draw. The safest one is to probably overhit it or go forward and around out to the right hand side. There's enough angle there in that 6 with a bit of top right just to go around the 3 rails. Well, he's went 1 rail, sorry, 2 rails, but that'll do. And just drop it in and you're looking down the 9. So the comeback is on. Needs a ball and a shot though. Cue ball gets kicked in. That's a disaster. And Larry with ball in hand. And really the only problem I can see is making sure that when he gets that 3 ball, he's at least got a good sight in a 4. And it's obscured behind that 7. But plenty of room to get at it from the right hand side. Result through. And well, LS3 has now moved over to that 1 loss side. Stefan may well have been getting a reasonable enough handicap in that match. Stefan has won by 7 racks to 3. And Larry just has to make sure he can see the 4. And he's done that. And now a little bit of spin. Not an awful lot. I'll just take him out into the table. Give him a good sight in that 6. Oh, where's the cue ball going to end up here, Larry? Goodness me. Oh, I'll tell you. He is extremely lucky if he can see that. It is very, very tight. I think he can just get there. It is very tight. Yeah, it was too tight that he couldn't get the potting angle. And, well, Mr. Fox has to go for the reverse bank. Give himself 2 chances of this going in. He'll be really unlucky if he's not in the 7, but if he's going, well, he's gone all out for it. It's going across twice, and he can see the 7. Oh, Larry had the table at his mercy there and found the only place in the table that was going to cause him problems. And meanwhile, Mr. Fox has run into the 9 ball and creating more problems for himself here. And Bankster has won a final rack decider against DJ Redo. And now a straightforward roll in the 9 to get 3 in a row here. Once again, crying out for a ball and a shot, not a scratch. That's the last thing in the menu you want. A ball and a shot. It's not a lot to ask. But the rack money position causes more dry breaks than any other time you'll play 9 ball. So Larry with a free go. That's probably the most punishing thing about 9 ball. You had a perfectly good solid break, the balls go everywhere, none go in, and worst of all, you leave your opponent a shot in the 1 and an easy run out. Now, what does Larry do here? Is he just going to try and roll up towards that 7? Yeah, he's avoided it. Avoided it at all costs. Oh, the yawning started now. Oh dear. It's kicking in, it's the usual time, just after 8. It starts to kick in, the brain function starts to go, or what's left of it starts to diminish, and there you go. Larry's hung up the 6 and got away with it. Well, I think the danger is kicking this from the side rail, because that cue ball could easily end up in the pocket. Like that. Commentator's eye gets it again. And I would have went cross table to hit that, because then you've got a better chance of the 6 going in, rather than hitting it from the side rail, because as soon as you hit that angle and you hit the 6, the cue ball can only go one direction. And into the pocket it goes, and Larry's been given his gift to take him through to the next round. Like I say, it's not often the commentator's wrong. I could see that coming a mile away. Well, I mean, 2 rails was kicking from in behind, which was tight. That's one way of avoiding that scratch. The other way was just to go across the table from the left rail and kick it, and you would have a better chance of the 6 ball actually getting to the hole. But anyway, Larry is through fairly comfortably in the end by 7 racks to 3. So now, well, there's a few results have come through. We'll have a look and see where we stand. Stefan is 1 rack down in round 3 against Bankster. We've got Larry waiting to play the winner of Dirties and Sylvia, and that is, well, it's on a knife edge at the moment by the look of it. We'll see that Dirties is 6-5 up, and he's getting the 8 ball. Sylvia at the table, looking to kick the 3, and Dirties is going to have his chance to win the match with ball in hand. Well, again, with this one, you have to just leave the cue ball in the middle of the table. You don't want to go anywhere near the bottom of the table. And as long as the pace is there to get out, but he really should have just left it in the middle of the table. That way you take any risk of blocking yourself out of the shot. Well, not a great deal of control over that, but there is a thin cut on the 5, and he should be on the 6. Just a gentle cut. And likewise with this 6 ball, just roll it in dead weight. Don't need to thump these in, you just roll it in, you're on the 7. And this is where you go 2 rails, left side rail, bottom rail, and around to the right hand side with the right pace to leave that 8 ball in the same pocket. Well, you've got to get there, and in the end he's not going through with the shot at all, and that's what stops a lot of players actually being able to run out when they have to, just by not playing the right shot. Okay, he's behind the 8 ball, but you know, he's made life a lot more difficult for himself by just not playing the shot properly and getting right around that right hand side. He chickened out on it, and he's actually probably got away with it. Sylvia's left with an extremely difficult pot in the 8, and that's a good shot. Going to have to dig another one here to take this all the way. And that's going to take us all the way. Now, when you, the one thing, I think probably the most important thing of any time you play any game of billiards is by not just playing the right shot, but going through with it so that you do execute the shot. And the main thing that was wrong with that shot there, he just did not hit it. You've got to play it with confidence. to get there. And Sylvia's come up dry. And this match could have been over. In fact, it should have been over. Let's be honest. It should have been over. Dirty should have been through by 7 racks to 5. No doubt about that. 3 balls now hanging. And Sylvia in trouble. Well, you might as well, if you're going to jump, you might as well go for the cut on the 1 onto the 3. If you're going to dig out the jump stick. Because there's room to go over that 5. And just play the cut angle to try and nudge that 1 towards the 3 somehow or other. Now, in the end, Sylvia has played the deliberate foul. And, well, what she's basically saying is, well, there you go, there's ball in hand. Let's see if you can run out. And the evidence is there in that last rack that he may well not be able to do it. And he only has to get to the 8 ball. And he's got himself immediately in trouble. And now he should be pushing that 5 past the 9 and just trying to nail on to the 9. There's enough room there to do it. He's going all out for the cut. Oh, Sylvia could have him in a lot of trouble here. Just a thin edge in that 2. And drop in behind the 7. Well, she's went for the pot. And I don't think the pot was on. And Dirties can get to that too. Yep. Hit the 4 after it hit the 2. And the 5 ball is locked up to the 9, so this is anybody's rack. And I think Sylvia, Dirty, sorry, is dead straight, so this may well be the old banging hope here with this 5 ball. Went for the cross bank up the table. Almost got away with it there, but now Sylvia has a chance to take the decider. Looks as if she's playing the 6 into the same pocket. Now, if you're going to play that 8 into the middle, you've got to leave yourself the right side of this 8 ball to leave yourself less work to do. He's trying to go the long route, and now got to get there, got to get good on this 9. And she's left herself awkward. That needed to stun further over towards that left rail. It's a slightly blind pot, and that's why she's missed the 9. And that's why she's lost the match. If you just don't get good, you leave yourself that bit more to do. Had to stun that more to the rail to leave that 9 straighter into the pocket and leave the easier shot. And that's gifted the match to Dirties. So he moves through, I think, to play, was it Larry? I think that's what it was. Right, so that'll update in a second or two. Meanwhile, the Stefan Bankster match. Stefan's now 3 racks to 1 up. We look at the 1 loss side. We've got Jose playing DJ Ridu. DJ Ridu 1-0 up. We've got Christian 3-1 up against LS3. And we've got Spectre Dawn 2-0 up against Mr. Fox. Let's just jump into that. 3-1 now, that'll be the mid-session interval. Well, it wasn't the last shot that she rushed. It was the previous shot in getting good on the 9 that was wrong. That had to be hit firmer to stun the cue ball more so that it went to that left rail and left an easier 9 ball. That's where it went wrong. But this rack isn't a gimme because that 9 ball's tight. And where Mr. Fox is sitting right now is not going to give him a great shot in this 9. He's going to have to play a good one. An extremely good one. He's the wrong side of the 8. And the way the cue ball's going to go, he's going to have to play this long past the middle pocket, and there's always the danger of catching that knuckle. Well, he's went for the bank to finish top side, and that's a cracking shot. And now he has to keep this flush to get on the board. And remember, we're only a race to 4 on the one lost side. Eight ball goes in. Has he got a shot in the 1? Well, those balls are rushing up to get in the way, and that 2 ball has got in the way. And no way he's going to jump that. So push out has been called. Now the easiest shot here would be to run to the 7. That way making it more difficult that when you play this 1 ball, it's more difficult to try and hide the cue ball. Because if he had just pushed up past the 7, it would have left it much more easier. Well, that 1 ball squeezed in. That was a good shot. Now he's going to have to draw off this 2 to avoid the 4, or he's going to have to run into the 4 and hope he leaves the 3 as a combo. But he may well try and avoid it. Not an awful lot of room past that 4 to actually avoid hitting it. And he's taking it the opposite pocket. That was a one surefire way of avoiding any risk of going near the 4 ball. And now the problem is dealing with the 5. The 5 squeezes past the 6. But he's leaving the bedhead cut. Good evening. Welcome to any latecomers. Well, look at where this 5 ball's ended up. I was too busy reading the chat there. I never noticed how it ended up there. Well, I think he's got to take the risk and roll up to this. Now, can you not skim off that 5 and come down the bottom of the table? And, well, this is very, very tight. But that 6 will cut. He's got to get it flush. Now, how's his luck? Not too good. It's the bank up and down the table. He's got to go for the bank up and down. It gives him 2 chances. And that's going to go. No, it's hit the knuckle. And the 7 ball might come to the rescue. Well, it's it'll be bucketing down with rain in Wales, is it not? There's a yellow weather warning down there. Well, Mr. Fox has been given probably his last chance in this rack to take it out. Well, this is going to have to be forced around the table here. He's checked it inside. He's got to get it up the table, and that will do. So we're back all square. Well, that's the answer. The $64,000 question. We don't know. 9-ball tracking over the corner pocket. The break is dry, I think. And Spectre Dawn is probably going to cut this from across the table twice so he can get on that 2 into the left middle. As far as we know, Steve's working on updates for the server and stuff. Whether that's finished or whether he's still in the middle of doing it, we don't know. But the tournament is in the pipeline. Where's the cue ball tracking? Well, it's going to be a 4-9 for this rack, I think. But it should be the virtual 9-ball World Championships next. He's missed the combo, and how's Spectre Dawn's luck? Pretty good. Now, there's not enough room to push that 4 past the 6 and leave the hook. It's too tight. Well, I know Spectre Dawn's not going to be playing any sort of safety here. He's all out for the pot. He's not going to do any other thing than go for the pot in this 4-ball. And if Larry was at the table, he'd be doing exactly the same thing. If Stubb was at the table, he'd be doing exactly the same thing. No thought of a safety whatsoever. It's all out for the cut. That's why when you're playing safe, it has to be good. Because these guys are, if there's a sniff of a pot, they're going for it. And he's missed the thin cut in the 5 because he had too much angle in the 5 to cut it down the rail here into this bottom right, or he would have scratched the middle. So there's a gift and a half there for Mr. Fox to take the lead. So ball in hand, and he has to get bottom side of this 7-ball. He doesn't want to be leaving this 7. See, the way to play this is to make sure you come up this side of the 7. That way, if you're going up there for the 8 or there, you take the 8 into the middle and come down for the 9. See, he's taking it long, so it means he's got further to travel to get to this 8. That's not the way I would have played it. And now the work starts trying to get to the 9. He could have made this simpler. But he's got the shot. And so Spectre Dawn is in danger of crashing out this week after his breeze through to the final in the winner of the tournament last week. He's going to have to do it really the hard way now. And that's another one of those breaks here where 3 or 4 of the balls just die. The 2, the 9 and the 1 just died a death there. And of course it's another dry one. And Spectre Dawn's got a starter. Well, he's going to have to play something fairly good here. The 1 ball's too far past the 9 and 2. He's trying to brush through it. Well, he's convinced he can see that 2 to pot it. Is that legal? No, it isn't. Yeah, he's brushed the 9 first. Yeah, the 9 ball went first. So Mr. Fox, with ball in hand, has his chance to win the match. And once again, has to get up the table far enough on this 5. And he can get to the cue ball, so he can just draw off it. And again, stay the right side of this 6. He's hit it too hard. So he's just giving himself more work to do by leaving himself more angle on the 6. And now he's bottom side of the 7. And now the cue ball's running. But that will do. And this match is over. And Mr. Fox is going to send Spectre Dawn out. And so Spectre Dawn is going to have to try again next week, as his luck has run out this week. Mr. Fox wins the match by 4 racks to 2. So now let's see how that shapes things up. We'll see that Mr. Fox goes through to play the winner of SD92 and Sylvia. And Sylvia's up 2 racks to 1 at the moment. And meanwhile, LS3 is waiting on the winner of Jose and DJ Redo. And DJ Redo is 2 racks. What's that? Is that 3-2 to Jose? Let's go in and have a look at that one. The little combo played by DJ Redo. And this is a scratch match, no handicap. Well, he wants to spin out behind that 7. So this, and he's just under hit it slightly, should be fine. But this to take this match all the way, and he's hung the 6. And that's why you've just got to get further into the table, make the shot simpler. You hit these anywhere near the jaws, they ain't going in. They're going to hang up. See it far too often. And Jose has his chance to win the match, so it should be all around the corner. Unless he wants to just drop through for the 9 into the middle, that would be a simple shot. Just drop it through far enough. Could have done with going another couple of inches. But this for the 4-2 win. Jose's overcut that. Dear me. That's again by just not rolling through far enough to make it dead simple so that you can't miss it. It's more accuracy that a lot of players need to make their next shot simpler. And falling short on just getting nice and straight on that 9 was the undoing of Jose. And we are going all the way. So it's all this inconsistency we see from a lot of players that lets them down. That's why they can't string balls together. Well, the 9 ball runs to the bottom rail, and while that was happening, the cue ball has gone in and scratched. And the 2 ball has gone in the break, and Jose has ball in hand for the match, and he should be out. Every ball on, not a problem in the table. The only problem is really the 3 ball, if there is one. And it's just getting there. And that could have done with not hitting the 6. So, simple enough 4, simple enough 5. The problem is going to be from the 6 to the 7 for Jose. He wants anything but straight on this 6 ball. He wants that cue ball off the rail and into the table off this 5 ball. He doesn't want to roll this in. He wants to get an angle, and he's just rolling it in. He's got an angle from inside the 6, and he's going to have to spin this with a bit of right if he's going to come down this right side for this 7 into that middle as we look. He's got to go through with a shot. He's not putting anything on it. You see, he's ended up just coming down towards the 7 and hoping he gets on it, you see. He's not played a shot to get on the 7, he just hoped he would get on it. He was inside it there. You play it with a bit of right so that you stun it and it comes down this side for the 7 in the middle. And this is where players just don't see the shot. At the end of the day, he got a shot in the 7, but that's not a way to play the game. You've got to play to get there, to get to a position. And that just rode his luck there, and he got away with it. But 9 times out of 10, you ain't going to get there. And Sylvia has won that match with SD92 by 4 racks to 1. And Jose is going to win this decider against DJ Riru, 4 racks to 3. So we're moving on at a fair pace. We are, what, less than an hour and an hour and 3/4. That match is about to update. So LS3's lying in wait for Jose. Mr. Fox is going to play Sylvia. And over on the winner's side, we've got Dirties against Larry. And Larry's given the 7 and out to Dirties, but Larry's 4-1 up. We've got Stefan against Bankster, and that match is very close on the winner's side. We are 5 racks all. Again, it's a scratch match, no handicap given. And Bankster living up to his name. Well, Bankster was playing as Larry's partner in the 10-ball Scotch doubles last night, and I thought he played very well, Bankster. And he's played a half-decent safety shot there as well. Oh, well, what a kick there from Stefan. That's a bit of luck, but the bad luck is he's hooked on the 3. He's going to have to dig it out with the jump stick. Now, if you're going to go for this, you've got to go for it full-blooded to get that cue ball up the table. You've got to watch that middle pocket on the left-hand side, though. And he's got the spin. Needed a kiss in the 4. Well, he was a good partner for Larry last night in that match. But mind you, let's just say their opponents weren't at the races. That's probably the best thing to say. And we'll say no more on that one. So Bankster looking to get to the hill. Now, does he risk the little stun past the 9? He's playing the little stun, and that's well controlled. That's the shot to play, because he's now got a perfect angle just to drop the 8 in and run up to the left here as we look. Wants to run a wee bit more, but he'll take that. So Bankster with the break. Another dry one, and a shot though for Stefan. And this is no miss now for Stefan because all the balls are sitting there wide open to take this rack out and take it all the way. And he's got to kill this cue ball here for the 2. And he's had a bash at it and it wasn't very controlled, was it? He's had a lash at that, didn't get himself set properly. And he's ended up getting out of jail there, leaving the hook. Well, Bankster will take that. Stefan, I think, will be going for the bank. It's a good bank, this one ball, near that diamond, and he's decided against it. And he's not got the cover. And Bankster will be having a go at this one ball. Cue ball brushing into the 4. He's not going to have a great shot in the 2 if he gets the 1. Now, is Stefan going to have a blast here on this 1-9 combo? Well, I don't know what he tried there, but he's left Bankster a free go to win the match. Again, that was another shot that whatever he was doing, it wasn't well thought out. I don't know whether he tried to play a billiard onto the 9 there. Well, there, we can see where the problem ball is. That 6 ball. It's not going anywhere there. Especially where the 5 ball is. I mean, this is where you take your medicine again. You know you can't get to the 6, so what do? You pot the 5, leave the cue ball down here, like that, and play the bank on the 6. And if it doesn't go in, it goes up in there, and he's went and scratched. Played it all wrong. And now Stefan should be doing the same thing. He should be killing the cue ball and just going for the bank up and down. It will give him 2 chances of getting in. He's trying to get good on the 6. And in the end, look what he's done. You've got to play the percentages. I mean, that was a bank every day of the week, that 6 ball. If it didn't go straight in, it was a double bank. And it just beats me why players don't just think logically and assess the situation at the time. You know, it was a lot more of a chance of potting that 6 ball than it was trying to get good in the 6 ball. Let's put it that way. Bankster hasn't played a particularly good safety because he's given Stefan an easy safety here to lock him up behind that 8 ball. Well, that 6 ball's squirted out and he hasn't got tight, and Bankster will be out with the stick here in a minute. Well, surprise, surprise, Bankster got out of the jump, but he didn't get the pot. And so, this is Stefan's last chance here to take this match all the way. And he really should be doing it. He's gone dead straight in the 7. So once again, you play the simple shot. You just roll through, get yourself as straight as you can in the 8. He's the wrong side of the 8. If he runs through, he's going to be close to that 9 ball, and he's hung the 8. Again, it was all because he didn't get the previous shot right. And this is how things fall out of shape. Had to leave himself dead straight on that 8 ball to simplify matters. And he's gifted the match to Bankster. And so Stefan moves over to the 1 lost side. And Bankster marches on. He wins the match by 7 racks to 5. Well, we're seeing loads of results going through here. Now, let's catch up. Well, we've got Larry sitting needing 1 against Dirties. 6 racks to 3 up. We've got the result of the Stefan Bankster match going through. So they're waiting on the winner of that match. Meanwhile, over on the 1 lost side, we've got Jose playing LS3, and LS3 is 3-0 up. We've got Mr. Fox all square with Sylvia. Let's go into the Jose match. And Jose is getting a 7 ball, and quite clearly he's not making much use of it. Well, I don't know how long Bankster's been here, but he's not a player that I've seen around an awful long time. Well, again, the simple shot here is pot the 4, but leave yourself on the 5 like that, so that you can pot the 5, cue ball goes off there and out for the 6. And Jose's idea of doing things is all totally different from what I'm seeing. And in the end, he's left himself a nothing shot. A really, really thin cut in the 5, cue ball going anywhere. Well, he should be locking that cue ball up to the 8. Well, that's going to be cut by LS3. And again, the shot to play here is a bit of inside left, so that when you cut the 6, the cue ball goes over and around and down for the 7 into the middle. And LS3's gone all over the place here. And Jose has got his last chance to get that cue ball up on the 7 into the middle and take this rack out. Now he has to make his mind up what he's about here. Is he trying to drop down for this 8 into the middle pocket? Because that's going to make it much more difficult to get onto the 9. And in the end, well, mind you, forgetting he only needs a 7 ball, doesn't he? Commentators forgotten again. Forgotten about the money ball. So Jose, off the mark, has scratched off the break. And LS3 has her chance to seal the deal. Bit of work to do though. 2 and 3 isn't a problem, but getting to the 4 is. 3 ball, I presume, goes past the 8. Let's have a look. Okay, plenty of room. But the problem's the next shot after the 3. That 7 ball is in the way. And I think she's pretty straight, so can really only draw back the way. Big draw. Loads of spin. A kiss in the 7. And, well, a very thin cut into the top right hand corner pocket. Cue ball running all around the table. There's the result through. Mr. Fox against Sylvia, and Sylvia has won out by 4 racks to 2. It's the reverse bank, I think, on this sport. Past the 9 ball. Now, is that legal? I think it is. Yes, it is. But now, what does she do? Well, when was the last time we had a Friday night 9 ball with 2 ladies in the tournament? And still in the tournament? Well, almost got on the 7. It's a bit of a nasty cutback, but should have no problem getting on this 8. Just got to play it into the pocket. You don't need to blast it in. Just let the cue ball take its course and you'll be on the 8. Now don't go to the rail. That's the worst place it could have finished. So just a drop in dead weight on this 8 ball. And remember, the final is a race to 9. And LS3 is still in with a chance of getting there, as is Sylvia. So, well, we're marching on pretty well here. So LS3 is now through. So these players are all now waiting on results from the winner's side. And Sylvia is now about to play Stefan. LS3. LS3 is now through to play Dirties. But we await the results coming from the winner's side. And Larry has beaten Dirties by 7 racks to 4. I must have missed that. Coming up the screen, it must have happened at the same time there. But Larry's now going to be given a stack of handicap. What's he getting? No, he's not. He's getting a 5 ball bankster against Larry. I don't know what match to go for here. You know what? I think we'll go in and watch the Sylvia Stefan match. I think that might be worth a watch. Now the question is, bearing in mind my chat's up on the screen so I can't see the players. Sylvia's in the room. Now, has Stefan done a runner? Because it wouldn't surprise me if he has. He might have had enough for the night, because I don't see him there. And I don't see him in the room. And, oh no, he's in away mode. He may well be just hanging off until he gets the notification to go in, but he certainly will be getting a notification, because the room's been up for a couple of minutes. Well, he's still sitting in away mode. We wait and see what's going to happen. The Larry match with Bankster has just started, so there's a long way to go in it. The LS3 match with Dirties is in the 1 loss side. It is. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go into the LS3 Dirties match, because that's underway. Or, well, we're already in the 2nd rack. And LS3 up 1-0, ball in the break. And that 3 ball has just killed the 1 there. That 1 was sitting plumb into the middle, and that little nudge has just knocked it more or less dead. All out for the bank. Well, she's not left anything dead easy here. The problem is getting good in a 2 from this 1 ball. 4 ball is a blocker. And Dirties is getting the 5 ball. And of course, that 4 ball was always going to be an issue. Now again, the danger is scratching off the back end of this 2 ball, playing the kick from this side. Well, he's got it full in the face. The 4 balls were knocked dead in the side rail. So it's not a guaranteed run out for anybody this table. That 4 ball is extremely awkward where it's sitting. Well, that's now opened up the 8 and 9, although I don't think they needed opening up, but it just makes life a bit easier. But the big problem is that 4. It's guarded and blocked by the 5 down the bottom end. And you've got to get really, really good on it to be able to try and pot that down the rail or up the rail as we look. And Dirty's having a blast, and he's got lucky. He's got the fluke. Again, you just drop the 2 in, take your medicine and play the good safety in the 3 ball. He's hit that far too hard. And he's blocked himself out. Again, why don't players just think about what they're doing? And this is half the problem. I mean, everybody can pot a ball, but not everybody can use their head. I'll tell you that. There's very little needed to make you a much better player in Virtual Pool 4. If only half the players knew that. You know, it's using a bit of common sense and actually thinking about what you're doing. And they fail to do it time and time again till you're blue in the face saying it. A bit of common sense goes a long way when you're playing the game. Well, that was a brave attempt at the 3. Did all but go in, but they don't go in on these tables. Not when they're rattling those jaws, they don't at any pace. Well, LS3's target here is an angle in the 5 just to get out and leave a clean shot in that 6. Don't underhit it. If anything, overhit this so that you get right out into the table and leave. Well, that's awful. That is the worst shot I've seen LS3 playing. That is terrible. All you do is stun it, get out into the table, you're on the 6. And I've just not just finished saying about using your head. What a terrible shot that was. I hope she watches this after this tournament. That is the worst shot of the night in this tournament, right there. And all it called for was a bit of simplicity. Enough angle out into the table to the left hand side. You're looking right down in the 6. And goodness knows what she had in mind here. Well, LS3 is going to have to jump this, I think, to make the cut in the 6. She can certainly hit the 6. She might go for the bank. Can she see enough of it? No, she can't. Well, is this worth having a go at the kick? Or can he see the rail to get to the kick? That's the question. Might go, probably the best shot is to go to the side rail, bottom rail and try and kick it in that way. Well, he hasn't got the line. Well, the other night there, in that 10 ball tournament. I did a test, or at least that was the plan. I did a test on Discord, where I was actually I was streaming my desktop to Discord, which gives you a perfect live picture, albeit it's not full HD because you have to pay, you have to register for the what do you call it? Or you have to have a registered version. You have to start paying money on Discord to get all the options available. And I was testing doing a commentary, so that if it ever happens to be that we want to try and do dual commentary in tournaments, you never know, that it would work. And at the end of the night, when I had finished, I went and looked at Discord, and I had Discord in the wrong audio setting for my mic. I made a complete arse of it. But then I fixed it, so now I know where. That's why you should always test things. You should always have time to test things to make sure that they will work. So LS3 2-0 up, and this one lost side match, race to 4. LS3 giving away the 5 ball to Dirties. Now, is she going to redeem herself and run this rack out after that awful shot in the last rack? Well, Larry will now be the favourite for the tournament, but the chances are that whoever he's going to be playing, if he does get there, he's going to be giving away something to them, because Spectre Dawn is out, remember. Oh, that's going to be slightly no man's land, this 9 ball. Blind pocket shot on the 9 for a 3-0 lead. So Dirties has it all to do. Another thundering break. The 8 ball is going to track in. A shot in the 1, 2 over the bottom corner. 3 in the middle of the table, but blocked by the 4. So LS3 has to get top side of the 3 for a shot into the middle. And the other problem, I don't think there is a problem. No, the 4 goes, no problem. So just a soft roll in. And now top rail and back up the table. Well, she's stunning to leave the angle, so that will drop across for the 6. Now she just got herself on the rail, so it's a run through and back across for the 7, and anything but straight. And now she's got to come back off the 7 out this way. Now if she just hits that plain ball, she's going to go close to the 9, that's fine. And so comfortably, LS3 is going to go through by 4 racks to 0. Right, so now we can catch up with what's happening elsewhere. LS3 is now through, and she will play the winner of the match between Stefan and Sylvia. And Stefan has arrived in the room. He's 2-1 up. Quick look on the Larry Bankster match. It's 2 racks to 1 to Bankster at the moment. And so while that's going on, we're going to nip in and see a bit of this match with the other lady that's in the tournament, Sylvia against Stefan. And it's a scratch match again. And Sylvia should be all square. Get out into the table. Let me have another quick look at this bracket. Hang on. Well, I was going to say there it could be an all-female final. There's still the possibility of that, but it won't be because if Sylvia wins this match, she's going to be playing LS3. So one of them is going to have to go. That would have been a turn up for the books. An all-ladies final. A first time ever, I think, in Friday Night 9-ball that would have been. But it's not to be. And she's going to have to dig out a good one here in the 4, because the 5 ball's blocked off by the 9. And if she can get out into the middle of the table, she can quickly take this rack out. And she's missed the 4, but Stefan is going to have to do it. Just try and leave himself as straight as he can on this 5. Couldn't have played it any better. Can't miss this. Cannot miss it. And that should have been Sylvia's, but it's gone. And Stefan won away. But I think the break's dry. And Sylvia on the 1, but no shot in the 2. She can just... Well, she's had a blast. Again, trying to work miracles when the sensible shot would be just to roll in. And if you'd left a bank in the 2, then go for the bank. And if not, play a good safety. Now, Sylvia is hooked on the 1. Went for the kick, missed the kick, scratches off, I think, the 2. And Stefan, well, look at this table. There is absolutely no excuse for players not to be able to run this table. The problem immediately, though, is where he's finished on this 2. He's the wrong side of the 2. And that is a good pace. It's going to get there. That's a good shot. And now the other problem is getting down here for this 4. And the angle's there to do it. Can miss the 6 ball. And miss that 8 ball. Should be down in the bottom rail. Again, he's trying to work some sort of miracle when the shot was there to come down this right hand side and leave himself on the narrower side of the 4. You know, players are trying to do far too much when the simple thing is to pot it, stun off that top rail, help the cue ball down the right hand side, and he would have had a shot in the 4. And Well, Sylvia can chip this 4 in. It's just got to pick that point in the rail. Very close to the 4, just to chip it and brush it in. That needs to slow up though. I think she can still cut that and that'll come off the point. The cue ball should be okay. Oh, that's perfect. Nice little nudge right off the point of the pocket. So this to take us, oh dear goodness me, the old heave-ho at the 6. You've got to slow up and steady yourself. Rush that shot. That rack should have been over. And this is the carelessness that comes in. You've got to slow yourself down, use the shot clock, get yourself set. And she's giving it away. And Stefan is going through, and he should have been out, or it should have went all square, I should say, not out. And Sylvia's gifted the victory to Stefan here. So Stefan marches on by 4 racks to 2. And Sylvia is going home. Right, so now we know where we stand. We've got LS3 about to play Stefan, and we will now go across and join the match between Larry and Bankster. And this is a hot seat match. And Bankster is getting a 5 ball at the table, 2 racks all, 3 ball is awkward. I think, what ball is that up the table there? Is that the 4? Let's have a look. No, it's the 8. Cross bank. Doesn't go. Now, well, Larry's going to just drop in behind the 3 and take it long down the table here. I don't believe he's going to try and play the combo. Well, he hasn't got across as far as he would like, but he'll certainly be able to cut it. He'll have to dig into this to try and stay top side of that 5 though. Let's look at it from this side. Oh no, that's... He's going to have to play a cracker of a shot to have any sight in this 5. Oh, he's played it well. That's a good shot. Now, how does he deal with this 6 though? Now, when you're sitting here, that 6 is easy off the jaw. Because it's very tight as a pot. And Larry's trying to get himself as good as he can, and that's perfect. Just to run it in off the jaw. It will go in no problem. So we are now 2 hours and 20 minutes into the tournament. And Larry's going to take the lead, 3 racks to 2. In the match that decides who is going through to this week's final. Well, Mark's definitely gone to bed because he's not given me an update on that match between Tom Ford and Mark Williams. It was 3-1 at the interval, but I haven't heard a latest score since then. So Mark would have went to bed about 40 minutes ago or 20 odd minutes ago. Meanwhile, back to business. Bankster at the table. Needs to go through the gap between the 3 and the 9. Wants to avoid the 9, and he hasn't hit it. He hasn't hit it hard enough. And now he can play a good safety and run for cover. Dead easy safety here. Bank that 3 ball to the side rail and send it towards the 9 and run up to that top right hand end of the table and try and use those balls for cover. That's what he should have played. But he's got away with it. Oh dear. That's not bad. Now that would need to be really thin on the left side to still hit that rail and come up the table. He's trying to reverse bank this, I think. Is he trying to? I don't think he can spin around that 8 enough to try and cut the 3, but he can certainly bank the 3. Well, Larry will jump that, no problem. The only other problem after that, though, is he going to have any shot near the 4? The answer to that is yes, he is. That's landed perfect. He couldn't have put it any better. Just roll it straight up the table. Now, what's he doing here? He's looking at he's playing this with draw. The 5 ball's up the table unless I'm missing something here. I think the danger is running through and going near the middle pocket with this 4 ball. He's trying to cut it. That's what he's afraid of, is actually running. I can't see him with the angle that he would pot that for. With a bit of inside left, he's going to spin up towards the 5. I think he's well away from the pocket. Yeah, he's just overhit it. He just overhit it. Too much power. And now he's trying to run in behind the 7 and 6 here, I think. I say I think because in the end you never know what Larry's trying. Yeah, he's trying to miss the 8 anyway. And that will do it. He's got the distance, which is always a good part of a safety, even if you don't get cover. Well, Baxter went all out for it. Where's the 5 ball going? Is it going to run past? No, it hasn't. And Larry will be out here. He'll have a 4 racks to 2 lead in about a minute and a half's time. Now again, the simple shot is just to roll through, or if he hits it firm, he's got to get it accurate if he's going to stun out into the table. And that's the thing, he just didn't quite get there. Can still pot it, but it's just a lot more difficult when you're not looking at the pot. And that's why he's overcut it. He should have played the simple one and just rolled down to take the 7 into the middle pocket. It would have been far easier. Coulda, woulda and shoulda. Now, Bankster's got an awful lot of work to do here with this one. Unless he just takes his medicine, pots the 8 and leaves the bank. That would be the simple thing to do. At least guarantee you pot the 8 and don't try to work miracles. Well, he's tried his best. He's played a pretty damn good shot to get there. So this to tie the match up. 3 racks all. And Larry should have been out. quick look at the bracket, and we are at 1 rack all in the match between Stefan and LS3. And the loser of this match will move over to play the loser of that other match. And that's going to scratch. No, the spin's going to keep it up. The spin in the cue ball, we're just going to check it up and hold it off the jaw there. One ball squeezes past the 3. Cue ball. And Larry played that shot because the danger was the cue ball running over towards that middle pocket had he just played it plain ball. And now he can just tickle the 3 in and drop down onto the bottom rail, or the top rail as we look. Once again, anything but straight, and he's bolt straight on it. And that is not bad. Now, again, the simple shot would be to roll right through and take that 6 into this right middle pocket here. So make sure you roll up the table far enough. And that, well, it's just not far enough. There would have been perfect. Here means he's going to be blocked off by the 7 for the cue ball to run in behind, blocked off by the 8, sorry. It looks as if he's going to go around the angles and come out to get to here for this 7. Yeah, the spin's doing the trick. And he should be home and dry in this rack. Well, this is another one of these where you've got to dig into it and get the cue ball out, hit it nice and flush so it doesn't rattle in the jaws. So Larry into the lead. And remember, Bankster is getting the 5 ball, which is not an awful lot to ask if Bankster can get a decent shot. And Larry's break is dry once again, and look at where the 2 balls finished. Absolutely stone dead next to that middle pocket. That is absolutely going nowhere there. But Bankster, he's got too much angle in this one to get anywhere near the 2. You know, he's trying to reverse bank it. He's got it. He's got the stud into the 6. It's nudged the 2 into play. And, well, he's got his chance. Is he going to take it? And can he get to that 5 ball? That's the more important question. He's on the 3. He's the wrong side of the 3 because he's heading up table as we look. And, well, the 4 ball will squeeze past the 7. It goes obviously into that corner, but how does he get there? 4-2 to Williams. Good. Just 1 away now. Oh, that's another toughie. The reason being is, unless he digs right into this cue ball to draw to the side rail and avoid the 9 and 6 ball, he's going to more than likely hook himself anyway. So he's probably better taking a risk and nudging into something here. He's no guarantee he'll see that 5. If he plays the big draw, no, he's taking a risk. Well, I think in the end he might have played a safety. But Larry will be out with the jump stick. But can he keep the cue ball on the table? That'll be the question. And is Larry going to have a shot in the 5? Well, he's got the jump. He can't he can't pot the 5, but he can certainly put Bankster in a lot of trouble. Just get in behind that 6 and 9. And, well, Bankster can actually jump the 9 from this shot here. I don't think he'd be better. I don't think it's worth trying to jump the 6, but he can jump. I don't know whether he can jump the 9 now that I look at it either, to hit that rail and kick the 5 that way by jumping over the 9. Well, he's going for it over the 6, but he's managed to get it, and he's potted it. Excellent. And of course, he only needed a 5 to win the rack. I almost forgot again. So we're now all square. And Bankster's got some sort of ball in the break. I don't know what it was. I heard something go in. Oh dear, it was a cue ball. Oh God. Would you believe it? And Larry's got a free go with ball in hand and everything on. Oh dear, Larry. You've got to get there. He didn't go through with the shot again, and he's left himself short in the 2, and with more work to do to get to the 3. Well, he's put a lot of kill on that cue ball there to stay in the bottom end of the table. But he's making life hard for himself. Difficult cutting the 3, cue ball going over to the right. As long as it misses a 6, he should be on the 4. Misses a 6. He's on the 4. And he needs a good little brush off this 7. But I'll tell you something, that 4 is very tight past the 5. He could cut the 4 onto the 7, play a combo. He could play the 4 down onto the 5, that's even more difficult. But look at the gap that he's got to get this 4 ball in. Oh, that's a good shot. That's unlucky though, but out with the jump stick again. Well, I think Brian's been a bit ambitious there, trying to get four teams to join a doubles tourney. You don't exactly see people tripping over each other to get into doubles tournaments nowadays, do you? It's the same people every week, and even then it's only 2 teams in a 10 ball every week, and the 9 ball ones died a death. Meanwhile, Larry is going to go back into the lead again by the odd rack. And as long as he gets far enough over, well, again he's left it tough. An awkward cut. Oh dear. We're struggling to hang on, folks, here. We are really heading to cloud cuckoo land here right at the minute. But in goes the 9. Larry goes 5-4 in front. Quick look at the bracket. And we'll see that LS3 is 3 racks to 1 up against Stefan. Six ball had the wrong spin on it for it to drop into the pocket. The spin again checked it off the jaw, and Larry's break is dry. And of course, remembering that Bankster only needs to the 5 ball, and he's on the 1. He needs to draw up the table here, or at least get back down to the bottom end of the table to have a shot in the 2. He's managed to do that. Oh dear, dear. We are heading downhill fast, I can tell you that. Oh, that's checked up nicely as he got there. That's a beautiful little shot. Excellent shot to get on that 3-ball. Now this is the only problem. But he's just got to run through with the right pace just to drop over at the left hand side. But he seems to be drawing this for some reason. Maybe just to... He needs to get the spin on it. That will do. Needs to slow up though. Well, at worst he's going to billiard the 6 in off this 5-ball. But this, to square the match. And he's hung it up. Oh dear. And that is a major miss there by Bankster, just going too far on that 5-ball. And it's gifted Larry the rack. And Larry's going to get himself out of jail in this one. So the gap opens up. It's Larry by 6 racks to 4 and 1 away from tonight's final. 8-ball goes in. 2-ball just comes past the cue ball, so Larry's got a shot in the 1. Look at where the 3 is. 3-ball's doing nothing there. Okay, it goes past the 5, but how do you get on the 3? Now, yeah, it's so difficult. And I think Larry's escaped here as well. He's left nothing on for Bankster. Although that might be a guide for a thin cut in this 1 past the 9. Aye, that's very tight, isn't it? Well, 2-ball over the middle pocket. And Larry, I don't think, can get anywhere near that 3 off the 1. He's looked to see if it goes past the 7. It's extremely tight for that 3. If you look at it from there, you can cheat it in. But he's trying to nudge them, and that will do. He's got the little nudge, which has freed up the 3. And if he plays this at the right pace, he's going to drop the bottom side of the 4 for it into the right middle pocket. Well, he's going up top side, but he's going to leave himself an awful lot of work to get to the 5. I thought if he'd potted that and just let the cue ball come down to there, he could have ran it into the middle and dropped down for the 5. Now he's having to play the draw. Anything can go wrong here, and it has done. So now, well, he knows. That's why he's decided to play it over to the rail, but he hasn't got there. And no doubt Bankster is going to have a go at the bank. It could end up in a double bank here. No, he's got it, and it's going to kick in, hit the knuckle, and in goes the 5. And Bankster is still in. But Bankster can't get a ball. And Larry's got a shot to start him. But he's going to have to find a gap to be able to see this 2-ball. I think he's just got there. Yes, he has. And he can just drop through for the 3 into the middle. And the 4-ball will be open into that top corner where the 2-ball is at the moment. Because that's where this 4-ball should end up going. Or is it? Now Larry's in a bit of a dilemma here. Does he cut this into the middle and drop onto that 8-ball like that? Well, you see, that's what made the shot much more difficult. Just because he had that sort of in-between shot, he wasn't comfortable going to the top end of the table into that top corner, and it wasn't comfortable going into the middle. But he's left it awkward for Baxter. Chinese snookered over the 5-ball, which just increases the difficulty of the shot by trying to get the pot and get the cue ball somewhere near the 4. Well, this might end up ugly. Or has he gone far enough? He has just gone far enough. Well, he's got to draw off this 4 out to the right. And LS3, well, it all went to a final rack decider. He hasn't gone far enough in this 5. And LS3's gone through by 4 racks to 3. So LS3 waiting to play the loser of this match. And in goes the 5. And it's a final rack decider to see who gets to the final. And Baxter with the break. And just needing to get to the 5-ball. And once again, the break is dry. And Larry comes to the table with everything on, knowing that he has to run out. Again, he's just the wrong side of the 2. Had he got to there, he would have been perfect to drop the 2 in and finish in the... Is that the 3 or the 5? I think that is the 3, isn't it? Yep, he could have just dropped through. Had he been here, he would have been perfect. And that's why he's having to run the cue ball again. In the end, he's in no man's land, big time. And Larry knows, with Baxter only needing to get to the 5-ball, the outcome of this shot here has to be safe, whatever happens. I don't know what he's doing here, looking at where he's aiming at this 3-ball. Is he trying to bank it up past the 5? That's very tight. Is he trying to cut it? Or is he trying to play the combo into the 7? Yeah, he's trying to bank it past the 5, but there was no room to get there. And look what he's done. He's nudged the 5 right over the middle pocket. And Baxter, well, in no way is this any sort of easy shot in the 3. But if he can get lucky and get the pot and somehow see that 4, he should be able to nudge it onto the 5 for the match. Get some sort of hit on the 5. He might even do it off the 3. Well, he's missed the 5. He's got the 3, which was a good pot. And now he needs another good one. And this 4-ball basically for the match, because he can't miss the 5. Missed. And in goes the 4. And so Bankster is going to go through to tonight's final, and Larry is moving across to play LS3. Well, there we are. We're almost there. And the bracket will update in a second. But we'll see that just behind the chat there, Bankster is through to tonight's final. And Larry is about to play LS3. And he's probably given, I'm guessing he's given away the 8 ball here, Larry. And he'll jump straight in. Both players about to lag. 1Q hasn't appeared yet. And it's a close lag. But LS3 has just won it. And no, it's a scratch match. So LS3 breaks off. Ball in the break is a 6 ball, but no shot in the 1. In fact, very little to see in the 1. She's trying to knock it in off the 7. That looks way too tight. Yeah. Well, immediately Larry comes to the table with, well, it has to be said, it is a good chance here. 1 ball not a problem, 2 not a problem. 3 ball has to have an angle to get across to the 4. And he's got the angle, and now he has to make sure he doesn't hook himself behind the 5. So he's playing it into the middle of the table, the sensible shot, but once again, having done that, he's now going to have to play another good shot. A thin cut in this 4 down the rail to get the cue ball back across and out for the 5. And he's pretty much got there as well. I think he's dead straight. Oh no, he's got a slight angle, that's fine. Oh dear me, and Larry has just taken his eye right off the ball, and would you believe it, he's flipped to 7. Again, a careless shot by Larry, putting that spin on and not allowing for the cue ball displacement there. And he rattled the 7, but it's rattled into the opposite corner pocket, and Larry's got out of jail again. Well, while this is going on, I am going to nip for a little bathroom break. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Now, is there anybody still out there watching this, or am I all alone? I reckon most of you have abandoned it for the night. So where are we? We've got Larry at the table on the 5. Nice little angle in the 5 to get out for the 6. And a little stunny draw shot off the 6. Now, it's just going to be a roll up the rail here towards us into this bottom corner pocket. Now, the problem is that he's going to have to punch this in now if he's going to end up over on the left hand side of this 9 ball. The angle he's got off this, he wants to go that way, so he's going to have to go full blooded for this 8. And he's trying to spin around behind the 9, and it was always going to be tricky. And it's given LS3 a lifeline. Got to be up and down the table though. Well, I think you're the only one that's left, Robert. Everybody else is in the UK, I think, gone to bed, where I should be. I should have been there an hour ago. Well, this is another tester for LS3. But in it goes, and Larry left himself that awkward shot on that 8 ball. Well, that slight angle was the undoing. Had he been perfectly straight, it would have been no problem just to roll that in and roll up for the 9. But that tiny little angle made all the difference. And meanwhile, LS3 has had another of the many dry breaks we've also seen tonight. And that's going to be hooked. And Larry trying to kick from the side rail. Easy enough kick shot, but you just don't know what's going to happen. And he's left a free go here for LS3. I bet you're the only one in Discord. I'll tell you what needs to be done as far as Discord goes, and there needs to be a tutorial made on how to download Discord and just get it up and running, because the mistake I made was registering on the Discord site and I started joining Discord via the website rather than via the app, and that was the biggest mistake I ever made. I had lots of problems with all this. When I downloaded the actual app for Discord, I had lots of problems trying to reclaim my account, and I don't know what I ended up having to do to try and get it fixed. And I reckon that's what a lot of people do with Discord. They do what I did, and make the mistake of registering and signing up on the website and not actually downloading the app to start with. Well, LS3's got herself in a spot of bother here, but just a plain roll through. Dead weight pace just to drop the 7 in. And that's all you need to do, is keep it simple. There wasn't much you could do anyway with that shot. And just likewise with the 8 ball, just drop it in. And LS3 will have a 2 racks to 1 lead, but you've got to remember this is just a 1 loss side. And it's only a race to 4, so blink and you'll miss it. Seven balls going to go in. No really comfortable shot here in the 1. I mean, it cuts past the 3. The 2 ball is out in the open over that corner pocket pretty much. So nothing really to do to get a sight on this 2 ball. Just make sure the cue ball's in the table. And would you believe it? She's found a way to scratch in the corner and given Larry another free go here with ball in hand. Oh, Potman's here as well. Potman, you're going to have to go on to Discord and finish this commentary. I'm going to have to go to bed. Well, Larry's trying to squeeze the 4 past the 5. He's managed to do it. Very tight. Well, was you up at 4:30 this morning? And are you up at 4:30 tomorrow morning? Because I am, and I was. (8 AM). I wish I was getting up at 8 AM. Well, I will be after Monday. I'll certainly be. I'll be trying to get a long lie in, but I'm usually woken up by about 6 o'clock. My days off anyway. I usually come online to get a game of cowboy with the guys. So we are all square. 2 racks all. And well, LS3's major problem here is she's dead straight in the 3, so can only come back the way really, and the 4 ball's blocked off by the 7, and she's going to scratch. Oh, that's a rookie error, and we've all done it. We have all done that. Get into the draw far too much, and once again Larry has been given a free goal. By the way, guys, I've dropped hints in the past, but we need to drop some serious hints to Tin, because I used to do it when I was a event director. Every time the clocks changed, I made sure that Friday night 9 ball remained at its start time at 7 PM. Tin never does that, and the reason I'm saying that is for my benefit, simply so that I can still do some Friday night 9 ball streaming during the summer. The problem for me is that during the summer months, when it starts at 8 PM our time, it means that the chances are I'm never going to see the end of the tournament, because it runs on far too late for me. If it starts at 7 o'clock, I've got a reasonable chance of staying the distance, even though I should be in my bed. But if he doesn't reset the time of the tournament to 7 PM when the clocks go forward, then I won't be doing many streams during the summer, I can guarantee that. I've done far too many in the past where I start them and I can't finish them. I have to nip out. And it's a bit pointless starting something that you can't finish. So Larry's taking his gift. He now leads by 3 racks to 2 and just 1 away from that final. But once again, it is another dry break, and LS3 does not have a shot. Well, she does have a shot, because that 1 will squeeze past the 3 and it will squeeze past the 9, but it is very tight. And the cue ball is going dangerously close to the pocket. So she's had a bit of a lash and a hope, and Larry has got a combo to start him off. And Larry should be out, and he should be in the final after this visit, because there is not a problem. Well, this is the one where he needs to make sure he comes right across here off this 4, take that 6 ball out of the equation so he can get on the 5. Doesn't want to underhit it. Oh dear, would you believe it? He's missed the 4. And, well, Larry should have been out. But I think the old father time is catching up with him again. The tournament's been on for 3 hours now. I'm certainly well past my bedtime. And those old lapses of concentration are kicking in. And meanwhile, LS3 has hung the 4. And this match will definitely be over now. That was the last lifeline there for LS3. Well, the simple shot is just to drop the 6 in, finish behind the 8 into the right middle pocket. But Larry's coming out into the table. It needs to go far enough to make this straightforward. And so it's Larry who's going to march into the final. And Bankster lies in wait. And Larry wins the match by 4 racks to 2. So here we are, folks. We are down to tonight's final. That will update in a second. And LS3 wins $250 V. And Stefan wins 190. And the runner-up tonight will get 375. And the winner will get 750. Right, so the final room is up. If I can get myself to go in it. And Bankster is there. Larry might be taking a quick break. So the final is a race to 9. And we will see what Bankster will be getting as a handicap. He may well be getting the 7 ball, something like that. I don't think he'll be getting 7 and out, but he might be getting a 7. At worst, he'll be getting the 8 ball. So here we go. In fact, tell a lie, he's getting a 5 ball. Well, that is a good handicap, I'll tell you. So here we go for the lag. I haven't a clue who's who again. But I think that's Larry nearest me, is it? Or, yeah, no it wasn't. It was Larry on the far side. So Larry breaks off. And Larry's given away the 5 ball. So that doesn't mean 5 and out. It's just the 5 ball as the extra money. So if Bankster can legally pot that 5 ball at any time during the rack, he will win the rack. So whether it be a combo onto the 5 or a fluke onto the 5 that nudges the 5 in, he will win the rack. And straight away, Larry's break has come up. Guess what? It's another dry one. And Bankster just with a push out. And Bankster will be in trouble in a second or two here because Larry should bury him. Unless Larry's going to go all out for the cut and try and break up the 2 and 6. Looks as if he's lining up for the cut. Needs a bit of luck. Well, he's got a shot. And he should be on the 3 into the left middle. Shouldn't be any problem there, but it all hinges on the pot. It's not a gimme. And Larry's definitely showing signs of fatigue here. Because he's gone way too high. Everything with that shot was wrong. He's missed the 2 and he's overhit the shot. Because he's left himself way high on the 3. And so Bankster should be 1-0 up. Just the 3, the 4 and the 5. Larry, I think you need to get a cold towel and rub your face with it to stay focused. There's little signs of wear and tear coming in there. And of course, Larry is... what the hell's happened there? I think Bankster's missed the 1 completely. Larry cannot afford to make any errors leading up to that 5 ball because the perfect example of it was there in that last rack because Bankster only had to pot the 3, the 4 and the 5. So it's a tall order to keep things safe. Larry just simply cannot afford to miss at any time. I think everybody's averaging less than half a ball in the break. I tell you, that's why that rack money's a good idea. It just makes it sure that it's guaranteed that it's going to cause problems getting a break ball, or a break shot I should say, or a ball in the break. Well, Larry's left a toughie here. I would not want this shot. That's a good cut. Excellent cut. And again, needs another good one off this 8 ball. If he just hits it plain ball, he's going to end up squaring the 9. So needs the pace, and it's another toughie. Now, is Larry going to the well again for this thin cut in the 9? And he's got it. And it's 1 rack all. I'm getting ahead of myself here, because half of my body is lying in my bed at the moment, and what's left is trying its best to stay awake here. And yes, it is. It's another dry one. And Bankster is in the same situation now with a wide open table. Needs the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4 and the 5, and they're all there. But he won't do it doing that though. He's ran straight into the 8, hooked himself, and now having to play the jump escape. And the chances are this cue ball's just going to finish down the bottom end of the table with the pace that'll be in it. And he'll have no real shot in the 3 other than, well, he's got the pot, but as I say, the cue ball was always going to finish down here. And he's got no bank on, he's got no cut on, so he should be sending this 3 ball up the table, an easy safety. Just cut that 3 to there to send it up there and leave the cue ball down this end of the table. And in the end, he's had a sort of heave-ho at it and done nothing. And that's just the weakness in a lot of players, by having some sort of blast and hoping for a miracle rather than playing the sensible shot and getting a half-decent safety. And all he's done is give Larry a free go. And lapses like that by Bankster are not going to help his cause. Got to keep your mind in the job and play the sensible safety shot. Now here's another little tricky one, and you see what happens. That little tricky stun draw shot, and the 7 ball's hung up. Now where's the cue ball finished? Oh, he's okay. He can get to it and he can spin out to this side of the 8. And it's only a gentle spin he needs, and just enough pace to get right out onto the 8. Well, he's gone inside it. I don't know why he didn't spin over to the right, because that opens up the table from this side. Or over to the left as we look. And if he had played what I said for him to play, he wouldn't have been sitting like this in the 9. He should have gone to the open side on the left side of the table for that 8 ball. And now he's going to have to dig out a good one in this 9. Played it well. It's 2-1 to Bankster. Cue ball heading to the corner. The break once again is dry. And Larry playing the sensible shot. Cue ball could have been tighter to the 2. It just means it opens up more angles for Bankster to try and get to this 1. He can kick it off the short rail and the side rail at the top end of the table. He can do that. But some players only think that, there's one way to get there, and that's out of the jump stick. And look what's happened here. the one ball's crossed the table, kissed the six, and gone into the middle. That's the sort of luck you need. Now he's got to be gentle with this too if he wants to be able to still see the three. And again, these pockets are testing. Got to get them nice and sweet. So Larry has his chance to square the match. Now, that looks tight. It is very tight. And it's just gone to that point there, and that's what stopped it going. And Larry's got it safe. An easy kick though. It's the old get the amp button on, give it a blast, and hope. And he's missed it. That was not a difficult kick. Big margin of error to get to that 4 ball because it was off the rail. And so Larry's got his free go with ball in hand. Oh dear. Well, I think he can just push this 7 in and he'll go to the knuckle. Yep. So the match is all square and Larry's praying for a ball and a break and a shot. But they've been few and far between for everybody. I'm trying to think if I've actually seen anybody break and run a rack, actually run a rack in this tournament tonight. I don't think I have. I don't recall anybody breaking and running a rack. That's how difficult the break's been tonight. Certainly a big difference this week from the way Spectre Dawn was playing last week. Nobody's getting anything. Well, Bankster's played a weak one there. Larry with his chance to take the lead. Well, it's all going to hinge on getting good on that 7. And that's not a guarantee off this 6 ball, but he can go 3 rails to get there if he wants. Side rail, bottom rail, right side rail and across. 1, 2, 3 and enough pace to get there. Well, he's gone well inside the 9, but really shouldn't be a problem. So Larry has the lead. And yet again, we wait to see a ball and a shot. 8 ball goes in. And he's going to have a shot in the 1. But he's going to have to run down the table, back up the table towards that 7 ball to have a shot in the 2. And the other problem is the 4 balls hiding behind the 5. So that's not going to be easy to get anywhere near. Now, well, he's trying to just roll it in and hold, and he's managed to do that. And now, what does he do with this 4? Does he draw into it and try and get lucky? Try and open them up? And we ain't got the luck. You ain't got the luck. He's got himself hooked on the 3. He's took the risk of breaking them up. And he's now going to have to jump to escape. And he's missed the 3. And so, Bankster, just the 3, the 4 and the 5 to get back all square. And this isn't exactly easy either. He's in a tight corner here with this 3 ball cut, gets the cut, and the 4 ball is from distance, and that 4 ball is just half a millimetre off the rail, and he's got to keep that flush or it's going to come out to the jaw and it won't go in. And he's still got to get to the 5. Oh, that's a good shot. Now, it's all out for the cut, down past the 9. Not a difficult cut. And off the 9 maybe. No, he's overdone it. Well, that's a good chance there gone for Bankster. And Larry, well, he's got a similar problem. This is fairly tight. And he's left himself high in the 6. He hasn't quite gone through with the shot. Well, then it goes. And Larry's going to have himself a bit of breathing space. So it's 4-2 to Larry. And the 2 ball goes in, I think. I think it was a 2. He's on the 1. And finally, we're almost going to see a run out here. But Larry hasn't got into it enough again. He's left himself short in the 3. Another tough cut. And can't afford to miss it. In it goes. Now what's he left on this 4? Well, he's got the angle. Just to come a draw off the 4. Now what about that 9? Again, the 9's just in an awkward place. Now, I don't think he's going to take the 9 into the same pocket as the 8. It looks to me that he just wants to roll that 8 in so that he can finish here and roll the 9 in the rail or down the rail like that. The safest shot would be playing the 9 from this side because it takes the knuckle out of the equation. But it's not the simplest one to play, so Larry's going to play. My initial call here is he might go forward and try and come onto the rail rather than leaving an angle on this 9. He may well go forward. No, he's tried to come down the safe side, and that's why he's missed the 9. He's missed the 8, sorry. But he's got away with it. Oh, good evening, Mooncake. You're a bit late, but we're in the final. Tournament's been on for 3 hours 25 minutes. And I'm on my last legs here. Well, this might end up being a crucial rack here for Larry. He's going to go all out for the kick. But he should have done what I said to start with and just rolled through to the end rail and came inside to play the 9 down the table. In the end, he ended up playing it anyway when he got his second bite at the cherry. So now he's got a comfortable gap. 5 racks to 2. A ball goes in. I don't know what one. But he's certainly got no shot in the 1. What ball went? We've lost the 6. Well, a very thin cut in the 1, cue ball running all over the shop here. And Baxter's hung the 1. That's the thing I never got to do because I had my dinner, you know, just like 45 minutes before this tournament started, and I never had a chance to have a nap. And I normally fall asleep after I've had something to eat anyway. Well, Larry's missed the 3, and there are definite signs of fatigue here. And Baxter has a shot in the 3. The 4 doesn't go past the 5. It's far too tight. Yeah. Well, he's left himself on the 4. He's got to squeeze this in off the jaw. You don't want to be playing shots like this after 3.5 hours. And he's overcut it. Well, I suppose at that pace he played it with safety in mind. And, well, Larry's looking up and down the table, but that's no way to get there. He's going to have to go maybe opposite. The one way of doing it would be to go that way to hit the 4. He's trying to squeeze past the 5. That is extremely tight. Oh, what a shot, and that is unlucky. Oh, I thought he was going to scratch. But that was very tight to squeeze that past the 5 to kick the 4 in, but he played it excellently. I thought the cue ball was going to drop. Oh, he's hit the knuckle and he scratched. He's done everything wrong. Everything went wrong in that shot, and Baxter's got a gift. Back to 5-3. And a ball in the break. And another ball in the break. What else? And we've lost the 2, we've lost the 6. He's got a billiard on the 1 onto the 4. That's a shot to play. Doesn't know where the 1 ball's going, but he should get the billiard onto the 4. No, he's went for the bank. But he hasn't got the cue ball out. The problem with playing the billiard is you just don't know where the first ball's going to end up, so you're always taking a risk. Now, he played the bank there, but that 5 ball was always going to be a hindrance to try and get a good sight in the 3, and now he's having to try and bail himself out. And he's played the jump, he's played it well. Is he still on the 4? Yes, he is. Drop it in dead weight, play the 5 across table into that middle pocket there. And it's amazing how somebody who's getting that 5 ball can turn the match so quickly. Larry 5-2 up with a comfortable lead. And all of a sudden it's 5-4. And the 7 ball's going in this time. All of a sudden balls are going in. Now, can Bankster see any of that 1 ball? Yes, he can. But he's going to have to go up and down the table to get onto this 2. He can't try and thin that and hold it. He's got to let it run. But the 4 ball's blocking that corner pocket. Bit of a hit and hope here. Hope you get lucky. Well, if it had slowed up a bit, he would have had a better shot in this too. But if Bankster does not get this pot or get it safe, Larry should be out. All the balls on. Yeah, I mentioned it earlier at the beginning of the stream tonight. Yeah, she's got stage 4 ovarian cancer, which has spread to other vital organs. And the prospects are not good at all, I'm afraid. Oh dear, Bankster's starting to get lucky, and that's a bad sign for Larry. Because Bankster only needs the 3, the 4 and the 5 now. And we're all square. Well, what's he trying to do here? He's okay. He's got to get up the table. Oh, he's chickened out. He has to get right up the table. If anything, you overhit that. The danger with that, though, is look where the cue ball was tracking. Right into the middle pocket. So you take your time, you look at the pot and angle, and then you make sure that you hit it enough for it to go in. But you've got to watch the cue ball. Don't let the cue ball bolt around the table. Well, if you did you not have VP3 originally, Potman? No. Jeanette Lee was the professional player that endorsed Virtual Pool 3 when it was launched. If you've got the offline version of EP4, then Steve Daking is the pool player that does the tutorials in the offline version. Well, Jeanette Lee made videos for VP3. She's in the tutorial in VP3. And she was also in the TV commercial that Interplay made for Virtual Pool 3 on American television, which I can't find on YouTube anymore. I used to have it on my old website. I actually downloaded it and installed it on my old website, but I don't have it. For those of you who never saw the Virtual Pool 3 TV commercial, it's probably still out there on YouTube, but I can't find it. Oh, aye, he's bound to still have it. I would imagine he'll have it somewhere. But the thing is that was when Interplay were the publishers for VP3. Now, can Larry see the 5? Yes, he can. Match all square. I think, if I remember rightly, the commercial actually shows VP3 in a cabinet, like an arcade game in a cabinet. And Jeanette Lee, I think, is wondering about what shot to play on a real table, and she goes and, I think, tries a shot in VP3, and then goes and plays it on the real table, and of course pots the ball or whatever it is she was trying to do. That was the way of promoting Virtual Pool 3. Well, a good kick by Larry, but no luck in the 7, but it's the reverse bank in the 7. And he should have some sort of shot in the 9. Reverse bank into this opposite corner pocket. And it goes, was never missing. And if that just holds up, he'll be back into the lead. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to... no, in fact, I don't think I can access my old website now, whether I can access the folders on it, because obviously I don't pay anything for it. And the other thing is that Webs, who were the company that I was with for my website, they've now been bought over, and the only reason that they're still up is for people who've still got accounts with Webs. They've now been taken over by Vistaprint, are the company that now own them, and they've got their own web building software that they use. I was on there the other day looking around, but I don't think I can access any files or folders that I had online. Well, Larry plays the combo in the 7, because I know that I had that file on my website. I actually had the video on one of my pages for people to look at it. Well, this tournament is now 3 hours and 37 minutes old, and I'm well past my bedtime. Larry trying to tuck the cue ball away. He's done it pretty well. Easy enough to jump the 8, but probably not enough momentum in the cue ball to actually bank that 1 across into the right middle. Oh, aye, those videos. There's videos with Glenn on YouTube. What's Bankster asking in the chat? Because I'm not going to answer him. There's a match with Glenn and Nugget, or some of it. I think it's the end of the one of the 9-ball World Championships that I ran. Did you know when the next tournament 1 to 6 players? I'm going to answer him no, because I don't really know what he's talking about. It would be 1 to 8 players, would it not? Is that what he's talking about? I don't know whether he's talking about the size of the bracket. Yeah, and that match, Glenn was boiling hot, shall we say. And I wish I was streaming and recording back in the day, because I would have had a lot of matches from VP3, but the quality of the software that you had back then was crap, to say the least. It was Fraps, and I hated Fraps. I hated the way Fraps worked. It was so, I mean, you had to compress everything and all that crap. But I can't remember who he was playing in a match. Glenn was playing in a snooker match, and I joined the room, and I saw the end of his 147 that he got. And you want to see the final black that he ended up potting. I'll show you on screen. The black was on its spot there, right? And this is on the 12-foot snooker table, remember? And the cue ball ended up here for the final black. And he had to cut it in, and he got it for the 147. I mean, it was really, really tough black, and he managed to get it. And there was also two 147s actually in competitive play in Virtual Pool 3 online. There was the one made by Glenn, and there was one made in the Virtual World Snooker Championships that I ran, and that was made by I think it was Polo that got the 147 in that tournament. So that's there was two what you would deem to be official 147s actually made in tournament play online in Virtual Pool 3, and none of them have been recorded. Well, most people that had VP3, most of them only ever played it offline because they couldn't get online. That was the biggest problem with Virtual Pool 3. Was actually being able to get it to run through your router to actually access the server via GameSpy. A lot of people had problems. But again, you know, the Techno, that's going to run towards the corner pocket, but it's going to stay up with the spin. Yeah, but technology's moved on in all departments. The streaming software that we use now is far, far superior. The power of the computers is far better. The internet connections is far better. So, you know, that all helps in the long run. But there was that many problems with Virtual Pool 3, having to open a sequence of ports in your router and all of that crap. And now it's a lot more simpler. Well, Larry, I've even forgotten what the score is here. What are we, 6 ranks all? Well, I first came online with Virtual Pool 3 in it would have been like February 2001. I bought the game in November 2000. That's when it was released over here. And I already had Virtual Pool, the original one, and then not long after it, Virtual Pool Hall came out. There was Virtual Snooker as well that was out. I got Virtual Pool Hall, and then, as I say, I saw Virtual Pool 3. when I was up in Glasgow one day off that I had, and I saw it in the window. I saw this black box with a pool player on it who I'd never seen before, and that was Jeanette Lee. And I, of course, went in and immediately bought Virtual Pool 3, and I played it offline for 3 months just to get used to it, and then I joined GameSpy, set my account up there in GameSpy. I actually had a name, my name for about the first month or so on GameSpy was Too Old to Play, and then I changed it to 9ball.com. I don't know why, and I don't know why I chose 9ball.com, but the strangest coincidences come around, because I've had 9ball.com for 20 years. I've been playing virtual pool games, and the strange thing about it is that I ended up working in .com. That's the strangest thing about the whole thing, is choosing the name 9ball.com and then ended up actually working in .com. It was 1995, you're right enough, for virtual pool. So we are back all square, 7 racks all. That one's going to kick in off the 7. Well, this is anybody's match. Anything can happen now. Bankster at the table has to somehow have a shot in this 4 ball. Is he just going to draw back into the 8? He could have done with getting a wee bit more juice into that. Oh, that's a good shot. Now he needs another one. It's going to be all out for the bank on the 5. He's going to have 2 goes at it going in. And then it goes. And all of a sudden, Bankster is on the hill. And that 1 ball's gone in. And, well, it's not easy, but he's got a shot in the 2. Yeah, that must have been a promotional thing they did. I'm sure there was that queue thing, you know, that sort of mouse thing that you ran a real queue through. Well, it wasn't a real queue; it all came as a package. But you could play the shot that you would play it on a real table. It was like using a mouse, but you ran the sort of the dummy queue through it, and that read your weight a shot. That was available online. There was a website for it. I remember seeing it. Well, that's a cracking jump by Larry. And Larry fighting to survive, but he's in real trouble again because he's hooked over this 6 ball. This is tough, and he knows that if he misses it and leaves it on, it's game over. And he's only caught the edge of the 5, and Bankster has won the tournament. He just has to drop the 5 in, and Bankster is going to take the pot, and I'm going to bed. Well, there you go, guys. That is how the 5 ball as a money ball works for you. Bankster's taking his chances. Larry was under threat with that last very difficult shot over the whatever ball it was, the 6. And Bankster runs out the match by 9 racks to 7. So thank you very much for your company, guys. It's short and sweet. I'll bid you good night. Do take care, stay safe, and spare a thought for Jeanette Lee and wish her luck. She's going to need it. And I will see you again next Friday. I'll be here for a full Friday night 9 ball next Friday because I am off. So I am off to bed. So I'm going to bid you good night and take care. And I'll see you again